Good evening and welcome to our Vesper service tonight. A Vesper service is a time of evening prayer. You've probably had a very busy day. Maybe you went to an earlier church service, maybe sunrise service. Maybe you've been with friends and family. And maybe you just couldn't get away from your world to spend some time today focusing on the meaning of this day. Today we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ, our way shower, our brother, our Savior. In the churches there was great singing. Unfortunately, we can't do music without affecting copyright law in our little online church. But we do rejoice. We rejoice at the victory that Jesus had, victory over death. But, I started thinking about that. Jesus rose from the dead 2,000 years ago. He found victory over death. My question is, it's been 2,000 years. Where is our victory? See, we call Jesus our master teacher, Savior. Why don't we manifest? Why don't we have a faith that manifests the world that we came here to create? I think in order to take a look at that and ponder that tonight, I would like to invite you to follow Jesus on his journey. Because our journey and his journey are reflected in each other. Why? Because he told us we are all God's children. When he gave us the Lord's Prayer, he didn't say, my Father. He said, our Father. He said, the Father is in me and I am in you and we are one. He said, the things that I do and even greater things shall you do. I think it's about time for us to hop to and figure out, why don't we have our victory? So we look at his life and we begin at the triumphal entry into Jerusalem. Oh, there was such rejoicing and the throwing of palms and the shouting and singing and the people said, Jesus, tell your people to quiet down. And he said, why? Because even if I quieted them down, even the rocks would cry out in joy because he brought us good news of God's love and our own spiritual power as children of God. So he comes in and out to Jerusalem, everything is wonderful, and then, before you know it, he's gathered with his disciples. And this is going to be their last supper together. And he tries to give them special words of wisdom because he is sending them to carry the message that he brought so people don't forget it and so that we're able to have our victory. And in that special dinner, he gave them wine. He blessed it, drank it, said, drink this. This is my life, the blood of my life poured out for all. And he gave them the bread and he said, eat. This is the bread, this is the substance that I am giving you. It's my body. In unity, we call the bread the substance, the teaching, the body of Jesus. So what that really affirmed, though, is that we are, in fact, all one. Okay. Later that night, he knows some challenging experiences are coming. He's going to be put to the test of everything he has taught. And so in Gethsemane, he prayed. He asked his disciples, says, would you please come and pray with me? Help me get through this night with prayer. And they fell asleep. And he woke them and he said, can't you please come and pray with me for but 1 hour? And they fell asleep again. At the dinner, he warned them, one of you will deny me 3 times. And Peter said, oh, not me. I would never deny you. And he said, one will betray me. And they said, who is the one? That's for another Sunday, another Easter we will do. In any event, Thursday in Gethsemane, he prayed. And then Friday, on the cross, he cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me? Have you ever felt that way? In the depths of pain and suffering? God, why have you forsaken me? I gave you all. Then for the next 3 days, Jesus experienced tomb time. And that is the time of solitude. It is the solo journey. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight in our own lives. The solo journey that Jesus took and how it affects us. What happened in that tomb? Because Easter morning, he emerged victorious, rising. Oh, he raised others from the dead, but here he raised himself from the dead. How exciting was that? Well, I'll tell you, I look around in the world today and I say, where's my victory? Why are we having, you know what, it's just like it says in the Bible, disease, pestilence, storms, evil. We have our own slaughter of the innocents happening. We have deceits and lies at an astounding rate. What are we to do? Too many people are waiting for Jesus to come back and save us. Jesus is not going to come back and save us. Why? Well, I'm not putting anything past Jesus, okay? But Jesus taught us how to save ourselves. When Jesus was on the cross, saying, my God, why have you abandoned me? And I thought about that. And I thought, if you saw a little kid, riding his bike down the street and he's close to a little cliff he might go over, and he falls over and he almost goes over and you run up and you go, my God, are you okay? But if we think that maybe Jesus looked and all his apostles, disciples were gone, and he had been abandoned at the cross. He had been abandoned when he tried to pray. Was Jesus not saying, my God, why have you abandoned me? That we abandoned the hope, the teaching, the faith, the promise that we had. What about you? What about me? And here's a secret. The reason that we have not had our victory is because we are still living fully in the lower consciousness, in what is called the carnal world, the world of senses, of what we can see and touch, and not a greater place. I am going to tell you, my friends, my victories may not be huge and wonderful, but I have had healing victories. I've had victories of prosperity. I've had many victories, and I could have many more, and so can you, and so can our world. But we can only do it to the degree that we wake up and do something. Consider this possibility with me. that we must come to know of a greater truth than we see with our eyes, than we touch with our hands, than we read in the newspapers, than we hear the politicians speaking. And we have everything we need to achieve that. It is already within each one of us. Can you imagine giving someone a beautiful grand piano and finding out that they cut the legs off of it and use it as a coffee table? And maybe that's where they have parties and, put ashtrays and put drinks. So it's this beautiful baby grand piano. Well, that's all the gifts, the spiritual gifts we've been given. The ability to think, my friends, the ability to comprehend and understand common sense and critical thinking. And guess what? Those are just on the human level. There is so much more available to us on the spiritual level. So I'm going to suggest a plan that you might try. Your solo journey. All day we get input. I laugh and I tell people, I am Johnny 5. And someday I'm going to buy myself a t-shirt that says, Johnny 5. If you don't know Johnny 5, he was from the movie Short Circuit. Well, I'm short, that fits. And Johnny 5 was a robot. And he wanted to learn, and he would go through books, and he would be going input. I'm like that. I need input all the time. But when I have just input all the time, I become a thought hoarder. I don't sort it all out and lift up my thoughts to that greater possibility. I go, oh my gosh, did you hear what they did about freedom to carry guns anywhere without even a license? Did you hear about they're saying the vaccine doesn't good? Did you hear about they're blocking people's votes? Did you hear about coronavirus? It's everywhere. That's staying in this lower level. We have to lift ourselves up higher. And you know what? We can pick on scientists, but scientists are looking at microscopic things, at beyond microscopic, as quantum science. Here's an interesting thought. Quantum physicists, scientists have discovered that the subatomic particle responds to the consciousness of the observer. We say it in another way in Unity, where the mind goes, energy flows, and manifestation follows. We draw more of the like stuff to us if we keep thinking about it and fretting about it. Do we spend more time fretting about the condition of the world, of the planet being destroyed, or do we spend time thinking about ways to make it better? Because I'm going to tell you, there are people out there doing wonderful, miraculous things with medicine and ecology, and we hear only about the bad stuff. We must train our thinking to move from the lower consciousness to the higher consciousness. We must know that there is something better, because I promise you, it is there. I have worked it in my life, and I can work it more. That's so amazing that I can be a minister for all these years and practice these wonderful spiritual principles and still have stuff I'm dealing with. When's my stuff going to go away? My stuff's going to go away when I learn to trust God and let it go. These times, the past 7-8 years, which I'm sure you are probably in sync with what I'm saying, have been very challenging, because I really thought humankind was on a great trajectory toward a wonderful spiritual awakening. And then all of a sudden we took a dive off the off the cliff, What happened? What happened to common sense, and why today is being awakened, being a sentient, conscious being? Why is that being made fun of? It's not all that. Do not focus on the minutia. What is it that Jesus called it? or maybe it wasn't Jesus, maybe it was in the Old Testament, about the little foxes spoil the vine. It's the little thoughts, it's the little worries, it's the concerns that we chew on and chew on and chew on that take away our greater benefit. We have to shift our thinking. There used to be in the 60s, one would think we've made some progress since then, signs that were posted in different places that said, K-N-O-W, God, K-N-O-W, peace. N-O, God, N-O, peace. If we want wisdom, we want to know God. Well, what is God to you? In Unity, we teach that God is principle, all good, all powerful, everywhere present. God is the creator of all divine ideas. God is not loving. God is love. God is not healing. God is health and wholeness. Do you see? We are children of God. Some people like to say, oh, well, I am God. I have divinity within me. Well, yes, you have divinity within you, but you are not the allness of God. Only the allness of God is the allness of God. And for us to manifest that true victory, we want to learn to overcome our lower human tendencies. We want to know God and know peace. And we can do that. We have to work, first of all, from lower consciousness to higher consciousness, from thinking like a human being. See, we are spiritual beings having a human experience, not human beings having a spiritual experience. All the people that go to church twice a year, Christmas and Easter, they are human beings having spiritual experiences. They're still spiritual beings, but in their state of consciousness, they are human beings having a spiritual experience. You don't have to be in church to have a spiritual experience or to be a spiritual being. It does help because you want to connect with as many like-minded people as you can because they help you go up. That's why you have to watch out the programs you watch on television and all that stuff, because you can be drawn into lower consciousness. You want to lift yourself up to higher consciousness. 7 years ago, when I started to really fall into shock and dismay that we were not where I thought we were spiritually, I really had a harder struggle than I have today. And I still struggle when I hear a lot of the stuff that's going on in the world. But the thing that came to me a couple of years ago was not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Now, if you look at the Lord as law, as spiritual principle, as all that is good, we are meant to manifest good. We really want to manifest good. We get in our own way. And some of the most horrible seeming, behaving people are people just like you and me that are a little bit maybe more messed up than we are. We were so perfect we wouldn't be here. I'm just saying. So we all have growing to do, but we want to keep lifting ourselves up. So we have to know that we know that we know, not by might, not by power, but by my spirit. A physicist once said, and I can't remember his name, Brian Schwimm, I think, Schwimm, and he said that even if we blow up the planet, even if we destroy everything, it will come back because of the energy of the universe. Because we are energy. Everything is energy. So let's stop worrying about the minutia of today and be blessed by the goodness of today. And let's lift ourselves up and keep affirming, not by might, not by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. The other part will empower you. I promise. If you are listening to me, if you take this into your heart and roll it around, you will feel so empowered. And it is this, and I'm saying it to you. You, yeah. Okay. For this, you were born. For this, you have come into the world. You are here right now in this time, in this place, knowing, listening to this message about Jesus, our master teacher, our Savior, our brother, our way shower. You are here now to take the great teaching. What is the teaching? God is good. What did the young man who went to God and went to Jesus and said, I've done all these things, I follow the commandments. What do I need to do to get to heaven? And Jesus said, there's just the one thing. Love God with all your mind, all your heart, all your soul, all your strength. And love your neighbor as yourself. That's a good place to start, don't you believe? Love God. Love your neighbor. Love yourself. I'm going to give you a challenge you're not going to like right now. But you know what? A good minister comforts the distressed. But a great minister distresses the comfortable so you can grow. And what am I saying to you? That neighbor that you're going to love, make it someone that tap dances on your last nerve. Learn to love them, and you will be powered to ever greater things. Now, I don't know if you can see this picture really well. I'm going to bring it up closer so that hopefully you can. And this is called Metaphysical Jesus. It is not the standard type of Jesus we see. There's all kinds of swirls of light and action going on around, which I see as that world which is beyond the world in which we live. You and I are in the world, but we are not of the world. There's a word that's being disparaged greatly. That word is woke. But we are awakened. We are enlightened. And because of that, we too can have our victory. And as we have our victory, we share it with others. Do you feel like you're not enough? Well, here's some great words from Canon Farrar. I am only one, but I am one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. And what I can do, by the grace of God, I will do. And so will you. Going back briefly to that tomb, what happened in those 3 days? Jesus, let's look at it like the caterpillar and metamorphosis. In metamorphosis, the little calendar spins a cocoon around it. It's on a solo journey. Within that cocoon, the whole body breaks down and becomes liquefied. It becomes pliable. Be pliable to God's teaching, okay? And it emerges as a butterfly. It's a battle to get out of that cocoon. But once it emerges, it raises its wings and fly. We can too. So I hope you think on that and remember to spend some time. Your journey is solo. Johnny Cash, you gotta walk that lonesome valley. You gotta walk it by yourself, because nobody else will walk it for you. You gotta walk it by yourself. You'll be told many things, even anything I tell you. If that does not ring true, don't follow it because I said it. Only follow what you know to be true. You can only do that when you get to know God. How do you get to know God? Give God a little bit of your time every day. In the morning, pray to God, ask. I dedicate my life to God every morning when I get up. Spend as much time as I can in prayer, meditation, thinking. It's not holy. Sometimes it's pondering the craziness in our world and where do you want me to go, God? What do you want me to do? And in the evening, review your day. How'd I do today? You know? Wherever you go, there you are. You're never alone. There's you and God. So I invite you to victory. Find your victory. I thank you for being with me tonight, because to me this is a very sacred moment. And I pray that you will be blessed this day and every day. And I hope to see you again soon. God bless you good and happy Easter. Bye-bye.